People become personally invested in shows on TV, far more than they do movies. TV shows, after all, are experienced in your own home. The characters and the situations they find themselves in are consumed alongside our meals, and we flick on our favourites as comfort food when we're sad, sick, insomniac, or sheltering from this outrageous weather. That's why we react so strongly to the finales of the shows that we watch. Even the TV that we're not that passionate about is TV that we've let into our homes once a week for anything for a few months to half of our lives. But TV finales can be strange, changeable beasts. Usually they're pretty predictable. There's the wrap-up finale, beloved of sitcoms, where the main character moves on, moves away, gets married, or gets closure. And then there's the what the f*** finale, the one where they give you the opposite of what anyone sane would expect, breaking your brain, leaving you desperate to discuss it with someone, provided that you can pick your jaw up off the floor first. This video is dedicated to the series finales that made you throw chips and dips at the TV and leap at the internet with caps lock on. And of course, there be spoilers. I am Kirsten from What Culture, and these are 9 TV finales that messed with your brain. Number 9, Battlestar Galactica, Daybreak. Critically acclaimed from the beginning, Ronald D. Moore's grim, ferociously topical update of late 70s Star Wars ripoff, Battlestar Galactica, felt like a modern classic from the word go. As the series progressed, it began to change shape, the alluring mystique of the high concept evolving into a bleak mysticism, positing an Orphic take on spirituality. Unless they could break the pattern, humans were doomed to repeat a vicious circle of events over thousands of years. Daybreak, a 3-part capstone to that elaborate narrative, doubled down on the COD religious shenanigans, substituting vagueness and a deus ex machina ellipsis for anything resembling closure. The audience felt cheated, and they had been, because no one expected the show they'd been watching for 4 years to end 150,000 years further into the future, in 21st century New York. Number 8, Mork and Mindy Gotta Run. Famous for starting the career of the legendary Robin Williams, Mork and Mindy spun off the titular alien oddballs guest spot on 50s nostalgia fest Happy Days to bring US audiences of the late 70s and early 80s the fish out of water adventures of the happy-go-lucky Mork and his long-suffering human bestie Mindy. By the 4th season, the formula had grown incredibly stale and the writing was on the wall, leading us to the 3-part climax Gotta Run, and legitimately the weirdest ever ending to a cheesy multi-camera sitcom. The final shot is a prehistoric cave painting showing the two of them standing, gazing at the sunset. Without a season 5 renewal, that would have been the last anyone saw of the show, so post-cancellation, quick-thinking producers rejigged the broadcast order to have an innocuous, formulaic episode round off the series. Number 7, 12 Monkeys, The Beginning. Terry Matalas, co-creator and showrunner of Sci-Fi's brilliantly realised adaptation of Terry Gilliam's warped time travel tragedy, 12 Monkeys, never gave viewers an easy out or a quick fix to figuring out all the convoluted temporal twists going on in his show, and the finale, which he wrote and directed, doesn't deviate from the established pattern. As ominous cliffhangers go, 12 Monkeys is a head given the reassuring reset button ending we just experienced, which deus ex machina though it may be, was a good way as any of cutting the Gordian knot of a time travel plot. Cole sacrificed himself to save time itself, right? So why was he then saved to place everything and everyone in peril once more? Number 6, Life on Mars. Life is a rock. For the purposes of this article, it's important to note that there are 2 similar but distinctly different versions of Life on Mars. The original UK version, starring John Sim and Philip Glenister, and the US remake, starring Jason O'Mara and the legendary Harvey Keitel. Both versions feature modern-day police detective Sam Tyler, who is hit by a car and wakes up in 1973, to find himself with a life and identity and a career with the police of that time period. Both versions see Tyler struggle to come to terms with his situation, while contrasting his more modern, enlightened methods of detective work with those of Gene Hunt, his immediate superior, a crass, corrupt old-school copper. The original Life on Mars left that ambiguity in place at the finale, and only actually resolved the mystery in the sequel series Ashes to Ashes, which saw a new police detective wake up in 1981 with the same supporting cast and the same dilemma. The creators of the US Life on Mars, however, were clearly keen to put a little distance between themselves and their source material, opting for a completely different resolution of the mystery. Is he mad, in a coma, or back in time? Well, no. He's an astronaut, in hibernation on the first manned mission to Mars with a computer system that, Matrix-style, recreates VR dreams for its sleeping passengers. In one of the most anticlimactic endings to a show in recent memory, it was revealed that it had been a glitch in the program that had led to Tyler's moonage daydream of a life in 1973. Number 5. Dinosaurs Changing Nature. Rarely does a production team on a family TV show choose to go with such a brain-meltingly downbeat finale as the one presented to the audience of puppet sitcom Dinosaurs in July 1994. You'd think that a show that mined the same family dynamics as the Flintstones and the Simpsons would have ended on a more nostalgic note, recapping the gently regressive humour that had helped the show to a full 4 seasons on a major network. Instead, ABC doubled down on the often topical themes that Dinosaurs had presented to its audience over the years, introducing a climactic storyline whereby Doofus Dad Earl initiates a series of events that kill off the world's plant life and allow poisonous clouds to blot out the sun, bringing on an ice age. Now, it's possible that the kids watching the show, who had Dinosaurs merchandise and had turned Baby Sinclair's cutesy dialogue into ubiquitous catchphrases, myself being one of them, wouldn't have been aware of the cataclysm that wiped the dinosaurs from the face of the earth. So, just to make sure, the writers laid it all out on the table for them. Earl tries to explain the situation to his kids, to apologise for not looking after the planet that was left in his care, and to admit to them that they no longer had a future because of his short-sightedness. The camera pulls back from the window to reveal that the Sinclair home partially buried in ice and snow, and we cut to the weatherman doing a forecast for continued snow, darkness, and extreme cold. Good night, goodbye. Jesus, now that is cold. Number 4, Lost, the end. From the beginning, Lost presented a twin narrative, a present-day storyline featuring the survivors of Oceanic Flight 815 and the mysterious island they crashed upon. The Flash Sideways arc was a form of limbo, existing outside of time. Every major character in Lost's history had been brought back together after their various deaths, some during the present-day story arc, others years or even decades later, to reconnect with one another and reach some form of closure with their lives, before moving on to whatever was next. It made sense. Lost was a show about a mysterious island in the same way that Breaking Bad was a show about chemistry. Built around the fundamentals of Lost's compassionate mysticism and show-don't-tell style, the end was a moving character piece, not an explanation of all of the island's mysteries. Those who properly understood Lost loved the end. Unfortunately, it seemed that plenty of the show's audience hadn't been paying attention to the show that they were watching. Number 3, The Prisoner, Fallout. Just as Lost's finale doubled down on the themes that it had been pursuing all along, so January 1968's finale to groundbreaking psychological thriller The Prisoner also danced with the girl it brought to the party, dissecting ideas of collectivism versus individualism while delivering a tense study in surreal existential dread. Yay! Unfortunately, the plot of Fallout, rebellious former spy number 6 has resisted all attempts by number 2, head of sinister deprogramming camp The Village, to brainwash him and find out why he resigned his post, leading to a last-ditch gambit to break our hero's will, which was layered with obscure symbolism and imagery, and no one understood it. The weird mind game that the series had devoted itself to took the next step to proper head territory, and the result is still controversial to this day. Back in early 1968, public pressure to explain the events of the climactic episode was so strong that the series' lead actor and driving creative, Patrick McGoohan, was forced to go into hiding. Is the bizarre ritual number 6 is co-opted into really a ceremony to initiate him into the village's secrets, or just another way to mess with his head? Is number 2 really killed by his own superiors and revived, and is he really on number 6's side after this? Why is number 1's face identical to number 6 under that gorilla mask? And do they really escape to return home at the end? To this day, very people have managed to get their heads around it. Number 2, Twin Peaks, Part 18. It's kind of sweet that many people assume that the long-awaited third season of David Lynch's complex supernatural thriller / small-town murder mystery / prime-time soap opera would resolve the show's dangling plot threads in a way that made sense to them. What part of Twin Peaks, or indeed most of Lynch's creative output, would make you think that? True to form, Season 3, also known as The Return, swam deep into the murky, crazy end of Lynch's swimming pool, presenting us with more esoteric, arcane symbolism and events obscured by elliptical storytelling. Even the exposition and backstory revelations were heavily layered with hidden meaning. The result was infinitely watchable for devotees of Lynch's storytelling style / mania, but utterly incomprehensible for literally everyone else in the world. The important thing to remember about Twin Peaks is that it will always pose more questions than it answers. It will never provide closure, and it will always be brilliant, audacious, terrifying, groundbreaking television to be experienced, rather than understood. Number 1, Saint Elsewhere, the last one. Shaping the television landscape in the 1980s and paving the way for medical dramas like ER, Chicago Hope and Grey's Anatomy, Saints Elsewhere also boasts the most bizarre series finale of all time, one that divided cast and crew when they were making it and the show's entire audience when it was broadcast. In the final minutes, the scene cuts from snow-covered urban teaching hospital St. Eligius, the setting for all 6 seasons and 137 episodes, to a room in an apartment building. Tommy, supposedly the autistic son of Dr. Donald Westfall, one of the show's central characters, is playing with a snow globe. His father, a construction worker, comments that he wishes he knew what his son was thinking about, and the camera zooms in to the snow globe, revealing a perfect replica of the snow-covered St. Eligius inside. The implication was that the entire show, every character, every storyline, had been introspective daydream of an imaginative autistic teenager. That was audacious enough and blew viewers' minds when it was first broadcast in 1988. The thing is, in the last 3 decades, those implications have expanded, because like many other network TV shows, Saint Elsewhere crossed continuities and characters with other shows being broadcast, which in turn crossed over with other shows, all of which were also now revealed to be figments of Tommy's imagination. Today they call it the Tommy Westfall universe, and it encompasses at least 419 American television shows, including classics like MASH, Cheers, Columbo, Friends and Doctor Who, everything in the Criminal Minds, NCIS, CSI and Star Trek franchises, and even modern day TV like 24, Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. Now that really messes with your brain. How's that for a mind blower, eh? If you liked this video, then make sure you give it a big old thumbs up, and if you haven't already, click that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon to be notified of any new videos coming your way. But for now, I have been Kirsten Ria from What Culture, and I will see you in the next video.